Turkmenistan is one of the world's most mysterious countries, locked away in Central Asia with a mix of strict rules and jaw-dropping wonders. The capital, Ashgabat, is filled with white marble buildings, yet barely anyone walks outside. The country has an eternal fire pit called the Door to Hell, a giant burning crater that's been ablaze for over 50 years. The country's former president built a golden statue of himself that rotates to follow the sun. There's also a bizarre ban on black cars because white is considered lucky. The people are friendly but live under tight government control, making it one of the most closed-off nations. Despite its riches, it remains a land of secrets where the past and present blend in surreal ways. Number 1. Location and geographical data. Turkmenistan is a strange and secretive land in Central Asia, bordered by Kazakhstan, Uzbekistan, Iran, Afghanistan, and the Caspian Sea. It's mostly covered by the vast Karakum Desert, a sea of golden sand stretching for miles, making it one of the driest places on Earth. The mighty Amu Darya River snakes along the border, but water is always scarce. The country is huge, about 491,000 square kilometers, yet barely 6.5 million people live there. That's fewer people than some big cities, making it one of the least densely populated countries in Asia. Most people live in the capital, Ashgabat, a city of marble palaces, empty streets, and strange golden statues. Number 2. Karakum Desert and the Gate of Hell. The Karakum Desert is a land of silence and mystery, stretching across most of Turkmenistan like a golden ocean. Its name means black sand, though the dunes shine bright under the sun. For centuries, nomads and traders crossed this harsh land, surviving in small oases. But beneath the endless sand lies a hidden treasure, one of the world's largest natural gas reserves. In 1971, Soviet scientists were drilling for gas in the Karakum when disaster struck. The ground collapsed, swallowing their equipment and leaving a giant crater. Poisonous gas began leaking out, and in a desperate move, scientists set it on fire, thinking it would burn out in a few days. But the fire never stopped. Over 50 years later, the crater, now called the Gate of Hell, still roars with flames, casting an eerie glow in the desert night. The fiery pit, about 70 meters wide and 30 meters deep, has become one of Turkmenistan's strangest landmarks. It looks like something out of another world, a blazing wound in the earth that refuses to heal. Some locals believe it's cursed, while others see it as a symbol of the country's untapped power. Despite its haunting beauty, Turkmenistan's leaders have tried to close it, calling it a waste of resources. But the flames keep burning, drawing travelers to witness this accidental wonder, proof that even the most controlled lands can have secrets too wild to tame. Number 3. A closed regime and the cult of the Liad. It all began with Sapar Murat Niyazov, the first president after the Soviet Union collapsed in 1991. He didn't just rule. He turned himself into a living god. Calling himself Turkmenbashi, father of all Turkmen, he filled the country with golden statues of himself, renamed months after his family members, and even wrote a holy book called the Ruhnama, forcing people to read it in schools, mosques, and even driving tests. Under his rule, Turkmenistan became a dictatorship wrapped in absurdity. He banned beards, gold teeth, and even lip-syncing. People had to swear oaths on his book, and his face was on every banknote, newspaper, and TV broadcast. He even built a giant golden statue that rotated to always face the sun. After he died in 2006, his successor, Gurbanguly Berdimuhamedow, took power and toned down some of the madness, removing a few statues, but kept the control. He built his own cult, winning races on horseback, lifting gold dumbbells on live TV, and writing books on everything from health to horses. The capital, Ashgabat, became a surreal city of white marble and empty streets, with cameras everywhere and almost no internet. Today, his son, Serdar Berdimuhamedow, continues the rule, making Turkmenistan a land frozen in time, where power is absolute, leaders are worshipped, and the outside world remains a distant dream. Number 4. The obsession with the color white and forbidden black cars. Turkmenistan has a strange obsession with the color white. In the capital, Ashgabat, nearly every building is made of white marble, gleaming under the desert sun like a ghost city. Even the roads are spotless, and drivers must keep their cars clean. Dirt is unacceptable. But the weirdest rule? Black cars are practically banned. It all started under President Gurbanguly Berdimuhamedow, who believed white was a symbol of purity and luck. One day, black cars began disappearing from the streets, quietly confiscated by authorities. No official reason was given, but soon people were forced to repaint their vehicles white just to avoid trouble. Even inside homes, the obsession continues. Government officials are known to prefer white furniture, white carpets, and even white clothes. Ashgabat itself looks almost unreal, like a futuristic city, but empty, with barely anyone walking outside. Despite the surreal beauty, life under such strict rules feels suffocating. The color white might shine bright, but it hides the reality of a country where control seeps into every part of daily life. In Turkmenistan, even the colors people choose aren't really theirs to decide. Number 5. Ashgabat. Ashgabat, the capital of Turkmenistan, looks like a futuristic mirage, gleaming white marble buildings, golden statues, and wide, perfectly clean streets. But there's something eerie about it. It's almost empty. The city was built to impress, filled with luxury hotels, grand government buildings, and the world's largest concentration of white marble. But most people can't afford to live there. The cost of housing is sky high, and only the elite and government-approved residents get to stay. Ordinary Turkmens live in older, crumbling areas outside the city. At night, the streets glow under golden lights, yet there are barely any pedestrians, no traffic jams, no street vendors, just silence. The government keeps everything under strict control, even the population's movement. Ashgabat is a masterpiece of illusion, a city built to dazzle the outside world, but standing empty, like a perfect stage without actors. Number 6. Outlandish works. One of the strangest is Ashgabat's indoor Ferris wheel, the largest in the world. Built in 2012, this giant white and gold wheel sits inside a massive glass structure, spinning in a country where very few people can even visit it. The Ferris wheel isn't just an amusement ride, it's a symbol of the government's obsession with flashy, impractical projects. But that's not the only strange landmark. Ashgabat is also home to a wedding palace, a massive, futuristic-looking building designed specifically for marriages. The structure is shaped like an 8-pointed star, symbolizing Turkmen traditions. Inside, couples have lavish ceremonies, but only if they meet strict government approval. The country even has rules about who can marry whom. Both the Ferris wheel and the wedding palace fit Turkmenistan's pattern. Extravagant, surreal, and mostly empty, built more for spectacle than real use. Number 7. Alabai horses and dogs, the national sweethearts. In Turkmenistan, 2 animals are treated like national treasures: the Akal Teke horse and the Alabai dog. These creatures aren't just pets, they are symbols of strength, pride, and even government propaganda. The Akal Teke horse is one of the oldest and rarest horse breeds in the world, famous for its shimmering, almost metallic coat. Nicknamed the Golden Horse, it's a national obsession. The government even celebrates a special horse day, and the former president Gurbanguly Berdimuhamedow once raced one on live TV. Of course, he won. Then there's the Alabai, a massive, fearless shepherd dog. In 2020, the government unveiled a giant golden statue of an Alabai in Ashgabat, proving just how seriously they take this breed. The government even gives elite Alabai puppies as diplomatic gifts. These animals represent Turkmenistan's power and history, but like everything else, they are part of the country's strange, state-controlled image. Number 8. Melon Day. In most countries, melons are just fruit, but in Turkmenistan they have their own national holiday. Every second Sunday of August, the country celebrates Melon Day, a grand festival honoring the Turkmen melon, which the government claims is the sweetest and best in the world. The event is filled with speeches, songs, and giant displays of different melon varieties. Government officials praise the fruit as a national treasure, and sometimes there are even competitions for the biggest or most perfect melon. Though it may sound amusing, Melon Day is just another example of the country's obsession with turning ordinary things into state propaganda, where even a piece of fruit becomes part of the national identity. Number 9. Ruhnama, the Holy Book. In most countries, holy books are ancient texts. But in Turkmenistan, there's Ruhnama, a book written by former President Sapar Murat Niyazov, Turkmenbashi, and he treated it like a divine gift. Published in 2001, it was forced into every part of life. Schools, universities, and even mosques had to teach it. Students couldn't graduate without passing a Ruhnama exam, and drivers had to study it to get a license. The book is a mix of history, personal philosophy, and pure self-praise, glorifying Niyazov as the savior of the Turkmen people. He even claimed that reading it guaranteed a place in heaven. A giant mechanical ruhnama was built in Ashgabat, and at night it opened up and read itself aloud. After Niyazov's death, the book's influence faded, but for years it was a state-imposed holy text, proving that in Turkmenistan, even a dictator's words could become sacred. Number 10. Restrictions on women. In Turkmenistan, women face strict, often bizarre restrictions. They are banned from driving, and police have been known to pull over female passengers just to check if a man is driving. Women working in government jobs must avoid heavy makeup, and beauty salons face random raids for offering unnatural treatments like lip fillers or false eyelashes. Unmarried women under 40 need special permission to marry a foreigner, and traditional gender roles are heavily enforced. While these rules aren't always official, they are quietly imposed, making life for Turkmen women a maze of unwritten laws and government control. Number 11. Beauty bans and dress codes. In Turkmenistan, beauty isn't just personal, it's controlled by the state. Women face strict, unspoken dress codes and bizarre bans on makeup and fashion. Heavy makeup, false eyelashes, lip fillers, and even dyed hair are quietly forbidden. Beauty salons are rated for offering unnatural treatments, and women in government jobs must dress modestly, avoiding bright colors and modern styles. Wearing tight clothes or jeans in public can bring unwanted police attention, and foreign fashion trends are discouraged. The government promotes a traditional controlled image of women, turning beauty into yet another area of life where personal choice barely exists. Number 12. Censored Internet and Turkmenet. Turkmenistan has one of the most censored internets in the world. Social media, blocked. Foreign news, banned. Even VPNs, hunted down. The country runs on Turkmenet, a heavily controlled, government-approved version of the internet where only a few state-run websites exist. People can't freely search, watch, or communicate. WhatsApp barely works, YouTube is a distant dream, and even mentioning a VPN can get you in trouble. Surveillance is everywhere, and those caught bypassing restrictions risk punishment. In Turkmenistan, the internet isn't a window to the world. It's a government-controlled cage, keeping people cut off and silent. Number 13. Zero freedom of expression. In Turkmenistan, freedom of expression doesn't exist. Only loyalty to the government is allowed. Criticizing the president, the system, or even small government policies can lead to serious consequences. People who speak out risk losing their jobs, getting arrested, or simply disappearing. Journalists work under strict state control, and independent media is banned. Even private conversations aren't safe. Phones are monitored, and people fear informants. Those who try to share information online can be tracked down and punished. If someone dares to protest, they are quickly silenced, sometimes through arrests, forced confessions, or exile. In Turkmenistan, silence isn't just expected, it's survival.